I was 26 when it happened. I worked at a mid-sized marketing company in New York, stuck in a tiny gray cubicle among dozens of others. My life was, well, fine. Not terrible, but not inspiring either. Just fine. I woke up at 6:30 a.m., made the same awful instant coffee, spent 45 minutes on the subway, sat in front of a screen all day, went home, ate something quick, turned on Netflix, and went to bed, day after day. Sometimes I texted a couple of friends, but overall, it was routine. I didn't hate my life, but I wasn't exactly living it either. One Friday, I was running late for work. I rushed down the subway stairs, weaving through the crowd, when I saw him. An older man, maybe around 70. He was sitting on the floor near the turnstiles with a worn-out backpack and a stack of drawings. His gray hair was messy, his fingers stained with paint, and an old sketchbook lay open in front of him. At first, I kept walking. I was in a hurry, but something made me stop. He was drawing faces of the people rushing by. Quick, confident strokes, and surprisingly accurate. There was a portrait of a little girl in a pink coat, a businessman in a suit, a teenager with headphones. Each face looked alive, full of character. Curiosity won. I stood a few steps away, watching him. He noticed me staring, smiled, and waved his sketchbook. "Want one?" he asked. I laughed. "Me? Nah, I don't have cash on me. Take it anyway." "A gift," he said calmly, like it didn't matter. I hesitated but stepped closer. He flipped the sketchbook, and there it was, my face. Tired, but with a faint smile. I laughed. "Damn, this is really good." He chuckled. "Thanks, I'm Henry." And just like that, we started talking. Turned out Henry used to be an art teacher, had traveled a lot, and now lived off drawing portraits in the subway. Sometimes people paid, often they didn't, but he kept going because he loved it. Over the next few weeks, I started lingering after work, grabbing coffee from a nearby stand and sitting with him. At first, it was small talk, movies, subway chaos, funny passengers. But slowly, our conversations went deeper. Henry had a way of making simple things meaningful. He could tell a story about a pigeon stealing someone's bagel and turn it into a lesson about resourcefulness and humility. I began looking forward to those evenings more than anything else. One day, I admitted, "I feel stuck. My job's fine, I guess, but every day feels the same." Henry nodded, sipping his lukewarm coffee. "I get it. Comfort turns into routine. But you're here, and that means there's still time to change. Even a little." That line hit me hard. I realized I hadn't seriously thought about change in years. I'd been coasting. A couple of weeks later, Henry invited me to help with a small community exhibition. I was nervous. What if I embarrassed myself? But I went, and when I saw people looking at his drawings, laughing, crying, pointing out tiny details, I felt something shift. I wanted to be part of it. I started helping, bringing supplies, scanning sketches, handling small organizational stuff. Slowly, I felt like I had a purpose again. Henry became more than a mentor. He became a friend. That winter, we sat in the cold subway, sketching side by side. A woman in a red scarf asked for a portrait. We worked on it together, laughing when she kept moving and messing up the angle. When we finished, she hugged us both. "It feels like you captured my soul," she said. Henry winked at me. "See, that's why we do this." Moments like that changed my outlook on life. I started trying new things at work, pitching creative ideas, volunteering for presentations, adding a spark where I used to stay silent. My paycheck didn't grow, but for the first time in years, I felt richer in ways that mattered. Months passed. I began sketching too, copying Henry's style, learning to see not just faces, but the stories behind them. We had long talks about regrets, dreams, fears. I realized that friendship isn't about how often you meet, but about having someone who sees you. One day, Henry didn't show up at the subway. I panicked, asked regular commuters, looked around. Finally, I found him in the parks, sketching kids playing in the snow. "You scared me," I said. "Sometimes you need a day off," he replied calmly. "But look at this." He showed me the drawings, full of life and joy. By the end of that year, we organized a small exhibition together. It wasn't some fancy Soho gallery, just a community hall. But people came, laughed, and left with their own sketches. Henry whispered to me, "You see, Alex, friendship, art, life, It's all connected. You can sit in a cubicle, but your soul doesn't have to. Now, 3 years later, I still work at my job, but I see the world differently. I notice people, I make sketches during lunch breaks, and I help Henry with exhibitions. That friendship changed me more than I ever expected. Sometimes life gives you a stranger with paint-stained hands and a smile that says, "Hey, notice the world." If you're lucky, you let them in, and suddenly your world is brighter than you ever imagined.